If I could have your attention for a moment, and then we'll go into the pledge. We give thanks for the opportunity to be a Rotarian. Rotarians dig wells for which we will never drink. We vaccinate children we'll never meet. We restore eyesight for those we will never see. We build housing in which we will never live. We educate children we'll never know. We plant trees under which we will never have a chance to sit. We feed hungry people regardless of their backgrounds. We know real happiness, which has been said, can only be found by helping others. And for this opportunity, we give thanks. Amen. Thank you. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. One nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Oh, beautiful face of God, for mountains and valleys, amen. From sea to shining sea, our take care of that's stating that we have yes, I can get to here. Although I just got back from California last night for the family for 3 days, I found this in my pocket. It's great to just go out in the backyard and just pick lemon right off the tree. California, the oranges and lemons are picked in the winter time, not in the summertime. But always reminds me of our the great state of California, which is as you know, we're going through some issues these days, but the weather's been great, meaning that there's tons of snow and tons of rain, and that's great for all the crops. So there you go. But with that, I wanted to get to our guests that we have today. It's nice to always have guests visit us. We have a couple who are getting their first and second reading, so I won't call them. That'll be very inheritance membership. But they just go around the room. Actually, he's not a guest, he's part of the city club, which is a valued corporate member, but he's not always here every week. So Ben Lynn, right? Yeah, did you want to stand up? And also, I understand, Ben, that you're holding a business expo coming up. You want to tell us all about that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really great quarterly event that we like to do over at City Club in the Wells Fargo building. Business leaders in the Triangle and the Raleigh area putting forth their products and services. It's a free event to attend as a guest. If you'd like to register as a merchant or supplier, we welcome you to do that as well. We set you up at the table, mentioned in the programming and whatnot, and it's great. We usually get over 100 people to come by and do business and network. So thanks.
When is that again?
That is Thursday, the Wednesday.
Okay. Okay, great. And it's probably on City Club's website too, so look that up. March 20th or thereabouts. 23rd, my 23rd. Okay. 23rd. Great, thanks. Kevin, at your table. If we have, did y'all bring a guest? Okay, who I met before the meeting, but I could have her introduce herself to everyone.
Hi, I'm Danielle Galmar. My business, I consulting business, but Touchpoint Lines is my new venture. And what I do there is I have curriculum around team building, skills building, and then I've come up with these unique wine experiences that actually augment them using things like wine tasting, label design, blending of wines and all kinds of things. So, I'm happy to be here. I actually spoke at the Raleigh Rotary, and somebody saw that on my LinkedIn and reached out and said, you need to come to the Raleigh Rotary. So here I am, and thank you for welcoming.
Okay, it's great to have you. And then that's at your table, I think there are good ladies.
I am Christine, and the resident of the Golden State Road, working fires and stuff throughout the time. Thank you all very much.
Sir.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Matt Persons. With the chiropractic institute, we're helping for you. Everyone is at 10 health around the planet. I'm going to help you heal yourself. So Jessica, you're warmly invited me. Happy to be here.
You have a return guest.
Samuel Dees, I work at the North Carolina Administrator of Law for the Court, private court of District Attorney. Doing the research for the judge in our courts. And I like so much at the meeting last week that I'm back.
We have attorneys here to follow up on top of you. I have markings to be there, so feel free. And let's see, scanning the tables here, other than our guest speaker. Let's see, any more guests? No, that's great. Well, welcome everybody. Hope you enjoy the experience. We call Matt Harrison, our membership chair. If you have any questions in particular about joining our club, we're just glad you're here and get to see what we do week to week basis. Remember, please, again, the red buckets, those are for the Dementia Alliance of North Carolina. We put insert change, dollar bills, coins, or there's monopoly money next to them. If you don't have spare change or coins, you can write that at the denomination, and then you'll be billed for that later. We haven't done it for a week. Charlie, you want to stand up and see if there are any happy dollars anybody has? Any fun events in your life, big sports wins, children, anything like that to let Charlie know about? Harrison has one.
I've got $20. There is a darker blue that took care of business from UNC Stanford. Then also happy to announce October of this year we will be inviting Tiny Turner #2 to the world. So.
Yeah, you guys need that.
I'm over here. Tom's back. Tom's back. All right, well, what about the Tom?
Have a big weekend. Excuse me, I got in the middle of light. Wait for the law. Had a big weekend. Got to go see my grandmother for her 95th birthday. That was awesome. We had a big celebration. They asked her to stand up and say something. And when she stood up, she said, I'm a little insulted that we're having such a big celebration. Don't you trust me to hit 100? Pretty good. And I got to go to a game last night with my local. Had a great night. Yeah, really.
That happens.
I've been living in Alabama, working for the past 10 months, and she this weekend, so she is home permanently again. So I'm happy that my baby girl passed.
It's great how the kids come home. Okay, thank you, everybody. And again, $50 money goes to our foundation, so it's sort of a good cause as well. This is a reminder of upcoming meetings. Special note and reminder. Next week, our meeting is off-site. Unfortunately, we won't be able to stream it or zoom it. But as you know, from you've been reading, it's with the Randy Woodson, our member, who happens to be Chancellor of North Carolina State. But we do need their caterer that they use at NC State. And it's at the Lonnie Pool Golf Course Restaurant. Needs us to let them know our head count by 3 p.m. this afternoon. So if you haven't RSVP'd yet, do it. You might see your email in a couple places. I won't be offended if you're looking down. Pick up your phone and respond to the e-bike or when you get home after lunch. So we have an accurate head count, please, and know all who's coming. And they did contact me out of the blue. If there are any golfers who want to play the Lonnie Pool Golf Course, they have a discounted fee. It's in the newsletter this morning, $52 after lunch if you want to go out and play the Lonnie Pool Golf Course. The whole goes until Wednesday. So FYI. So that should be a fun meeting. 20th. We have State Senator Jay Chaudhuri to speak to us about India and its growing business and cultural influence here in Wake County. He's promised he's not talking politics, he's talking from the vantage point of recent influence of India in our counties, which is very interesting. And then March 27th, for those of you who watch the news and watch the news for years, a longtime news anchor, Ken Smith, is going to talk about his travels, his, basically from the Virgin Islands to the West Coast to the Midwest, ending up here, he became a leading local news anchor for WRAL and the future of that business. So that should be a great presentation. I did want to mention that last week we honored Surrey for being in the room, having served the longest in our Rotary Club. And I noticed that Surrey joined the club in May 1977, but our own Bill McLaurin joined 2 months later in July 1977. And so Bill is another member of ours who's been with us for 46 years of service in our club and beyond in Rotaries. Let's just give Bill a round. I also did want to mention it is in the newsletter this morning. For those of you who hopefully read the newsletter whenever it comes out, first thing Monday morning. But this is just brought to my attention. As you know, St. Augustine's University, in addition to us having a couple of individual members who are associated, work at St. Augustine's, Candace Val, they're also a company or corporate member of our club, and a very valued one. Anyway, Home Depot has a special contest for historical Black universities and colleges to physically improve their campuses. They call it the Retool Your School contest. And last year, St. Augustine's they were able to repave all their tennis courts. So it could be something that or even bigger, but it's a contest. So supporters of the school need to go online, and you can't take it down here. Look at the newsletter this morning, it's in there, and you can vote for your favorite schools. And so please support our member and valued neighbor of St. Augustine's University, so they have a good chance to get move beyond paving the tennis courts and something bigger. So please keep that in mind. We're skipping nosy neighbor. Tommy's promised a bigger and better one. I don't know. We may do one of Chancellor Wilson next week. We'll see. Again, a reminder, please, join the committee. We've had some very active committees. Couple committees have not been as active in they've been active, but not as active in organizing, having a Zoom meeting, getting together, and getting all of you, especially the newer members, involved in the committee. We recently had a public relations committee meeting and a fundraising committee meeting. So contact Tommy or Linda Monahan at our club email address. Linda, by the way, I understand will be returning to action, physical action, starting next week with us. So,
That's correct.
Before you come back next week, hold the floor down. Why don't we move into fundraising? And I'll call up Carrie Sutton to talk about a couple things and your fundraising.
Thank you, President Tom. Good afternoon, Raleigh Rotarians and guests. Great to see you guys on a beautiful spring North Carolina day. So fundraising, we're going to have one more fundraising event this year, and it's going to be focused on raising funds for our club. We usually participate in Wide Open Bluegrass every year, and we raise a couple $1,000s for our club specifically through that fundraiser. We did not do that this year, so we're looking to do something later this spring. What we're thinking of is a wine tasting in person, which is really exciting. And that will raise funds again for our club, and we're going to have a short presentation in a few weeks about why that's important. What I need though is a few people to help out planning. So I'm hoping today, if you're interested in helping plan a fundraiser, and it's probably going to be the second full week of May, wine tasting, finding a place to be, finding supplies for the wine tasting event. I would love to see a few people raise their hands right now. Frank, okay.
I'm order.
All right, Charles. So I got 3 people.
Great.
And you 3, and hopefully a lot more. We're gonna have a meeting, virtual meeting on Zoom this week, Thursday evening, 5:30 to 6:30. If y'all can't make it, that's fine. I'll send out notes. But just to coordinate our effort, get a date, and figure out what we're exactly gonna do so we can provide more details. So the second thing I want to talk about is I didn't introduce myself, did I? My name is Carrie Sullivan. I'm the fundraising chair. I'm also president-elect for next year. So the thing I wanted to talk about for this coming Rotary year, which begins July 1st of 2023, is a committee for speakers. I think we can all agree that Tom Packer has done a tremendous job finding amazing speakers. No, David Forrest, you helped him out as well as Tommy over there. So thank you guys. Definitely want to keep that momentum going for next year. I'm a meteorologist and have a lot of connections in that field. So I really would love some help in different industries, people in different industries. I know we've got a lot of lawyers, engineers, whatever, to partner with to help find some great speakers. If not, you guys are going to get really tired of hearing letter meetings every week, which I find interesting, but I don't ever get to maybe that wouldn't be most fun for everybody. So if you're interested in that, looking for 2 or 3 people to work with, and you definitely need to start planning that right now. So fundraising, I am remembering you 3 guys who raised your hands, thank you. I'll send out an email to the club with a Zoom link for that meeting later this week, and more details to come. And if you have would like to serve on a committee to find speakers, please let me know. All right,
Great.
that's it.
Thanks, Carrie, and for our guests and our new members who haven't participated in our fundraising before. Especially during COVID, we had a really fun wine tasting events, and this will be another wine tasting event. This one will be in person and maybe hybrid. We haven't quite figured that out yet. But we're gonna do it in person. But for example, we had one wine tasting that matched up. The wines were delivered to your home. We picked them up, and they're matched up with different chocolates, which was kind of fun. The next one, recall, we had a wine tasting. Again, we have a professional sommelier and wine expert leading us through this. It's a lot of fun, a lot of interaction, and we matched up wines with Girl Scout cookies and compared them. That's kind of fun. It's a big hit. So there are 2 more of you out there that would make Cherry's day before we leave today. Who knows if I did help. Next on to membership. Harrison, you mind coming up here? This is Harrison Turner, our membership chair.
Happy Monday, everyone. Thank you guys for coming out on another beautiful Monday. Gary, I will say that it'd be really cool, part of your president presentation every week, to do a 7-day forecast. Now, that could be hours if you want to get that as a thing. Well, cool. Thank you guys for being here. To everyone on Zoom, thank you so much for being here as well. We have a couple different things to do regarding membership. First, Chad, would you please come across the table? This is Chad Daigle. This is Chad reached out to me a couple months ago, as after his wife and him moved from Dallas, Texas, correct?
That's correct.
To North Carolina. He had some dealings with Rotary out there, wanted to get involved with local Rotary. And this is his second meeting with us. Is that right? Perfect. So today we have our first reading for Chad. Chad Daigle is sponsored by myself, and he received his MBA from the University of Dallas and is currently the Director of Customer Experience at Majesco, an insurance technology solutions company. Chad, you're originally from New Orleans.
That's right.
You guys moved here
About a year and a half ago.
about a year and a half ago. Very good. What excites you about Rotary or getting connected, involved with it?
Just really kind of getting connected in the community and giving back a little bit and just being surrounded by a group of people that are very like-minded.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, we're looking forward to having Chad as a valued member of our Rotary group. If you have questions or haven't met with him, please reach out to him after the meeting. Great guys. I enjoyed our coffee the day we had it. So thank you so much. And now we have our second reading for Chad. Chad, if you come back up front. It's good to have him here again. As a reminder to everyone, Chuck is sponsored by Mary Moss. He is the president of Metro Productions and is also one of the founders of Sharefish, which is a nonprofit providing support to families in Honduras. Chuck, one of the things that I like to tell everybody is why Rotary, like know what your why is, right? So why Rotary? What excites you about becoming a Rotarian?
One is the service aspect, being able to give back to the community and be part of the community is really big for me. That really excites me. And again, just being around a group of like-minded individuals, way to connect.
Well, I know a lot of you know Chuck already. I'm looking forward to having him as a part of this club. If you have any questions regarding Chuck's membership or want to reach out to him, you can find him after the meeting. Thank you so much, Chuck. It's not up on the slide, but our fifth meeting, our next fifth meeting is coming up at the end of this month on the 30th, which is a Thursday. So 30th of Thursday, March 30th, from 5:30 to 7. We're going to be meeting at Stir, which is a restaurant over in North Hills. If you haven't been there, it's an awesome restaurant. Got some thumbs up. That's good. Perfect. Great. So we'll be there. Please put that on your calendars. Not only the fact that you are coming out to connect with other Rotarians and get to know each other, but we are supporting local schools and the teachers. They don't have to come out of pocket providing snacks for kids. So make sure to bring snacks with that. But your efforts coming out there, fellowshipping, and also helping out our local schools is great. So please make sure to have that on your calendars.
Great. Thanks, Harrison.
Next is service, and I believe is Richard online? Richard, are you there on Zoom? Our service.
Yes, sir.
Like to give a service report via Zoom?
Yes, sir.
Come on.
We just wrapped up the Wake Up and Read book drive. I'll have a final count for you by Thursday, but I'm happy to report we passed that 2,000 book threshold, and we're probably going to hit around 2,200 books. So that's pretty exciting. Thank you for everyone in the club who collected books and had books sent to my home. Really appreciate it, and I'll have a total for you on Thursday. We have another project coming up this month, and it's sorry for the late notice. We were going to do a project, but it fell through. Well, it didn't fall through. We just didn't sign up on time. We're going to do another push down later on in the calendar year, but this coming not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we're going to partner with Warmth for Wake on March 18th. And we're going to be chopping some wood from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'll send out a link with some more information, but it's only needs about eight slots to fill for this certain project. So, and again, this is a chopping wood. So if you can imagine, it's not, child friendly, if you can imagine. So But again, it's a great project, warmth or weight, basically chopping up firewood for folks in need. So we'll send out the link, and then our next month we're gonna do a stream cleanup and also the Wake Smiles project. And appreciate everyone's support and participating. Thank you, Tom.
Well, thank you, Richard. And I should mention, one, axes, hatchets, chopping wood, piling it up, organizing it, what's that? Mall, yeah, yeah. I mean, you can split the wood, hammer on the wall, split the wood, yeah. And it's like a lot of fun, and he says it's kid friendly, so. So we'll see. But Richard, I just want to mention 2 years in a row, Richard's really done a great job on the Wake Up and Read project. Last year, we collected over 2,000 books. This year, despite him taking a new job just a few months ago as head of development for the American Cancer Society in Central and Eastern North Carolina, he's still stuck with us, fortunately, and just a yeoman's effort. And all of you did too, in contributing, again, over 2,000 books. So Richard, I don't know if you can see it, but we're all giving you a round of applause for your work.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Oh, I split up my fundraising slide, sorry. But I didn't want to mention this. We'll go back to fundraising. Don't forget the wine tasting and everything else. But this was just in Ultra Magazine. This came out this week. And there's a story in there about our in the world section of the Ultra Magazine about the fundraising event that we had last fall, the Young Professional Networking event at the City Club, which was very successful. There's our own Randy Giroux holding her piece of art that she did for and won and donated. And then years later, presenting the money that we had raised for Wake Smiles to Summer Wisher. So it was a very successful event, and it's nice to just get some community recognition about that. So there you go. We're in the news. And with that, no wedding anniversaries this week. But we do have birthdays. Brad Haley, who I don't see here today, but he was just here last week when he collected his recognition for the Paul Harris Fellow. John Nudie, who is also not here, the Manis, and Terry Reeves. Terry and Sarah, I think, are still down in Florida, but happy birthday to all of them. So with that, we're planning on schedule today. I'd like to switch to our speaker for today. First of all, I wanted to thank Randy Frazier for recommending our speaker today. And by talking with him and looking up by all accounts, it's a very interesting, fun, and impactful talk, I think. Our speaker today is Roger Smock, who is here with his colleague, Ayin. And just by way of formal introduction, I'll call Roger up. Roger is a rail safety consultant for the North Carolina Department of Transportation, DOT as we call it, for the rail division, Be Rail Safe, and the Rail Safety Outreach Program. Be Rail Safe provides rail safety education to public safety professionals, the general public, and rail transportation stakeholders. Be Rail Safe champions railroad trespassing research and conducts case studies of crossing crashes and trespasser fatalities. Roger retired as a commander of the North Carolina Highway Patrol Collision Reconstruction Unit for more than 20 years at different ranks within the elite investigative unit. So that is, please welcome Roger Smock.
Wait a second, I gotta stay right here.
But if you want, the Zoom folks, hearing that everyone's speaking on, we can all hear him. That's great.
And this was the,
Yeah.
that's the audio. Sure.
So they have got about an hour's worth of stuff. Just jump in about 20 minutes. So this is gonna be high speed, low rank. Right, we've really got two main messages I'm gonna get through here, because not every 3 hours. So somebody gets hit, killed somewhere in the United States, or about every 10 hours, they're killed. While we were setting up here, my colleague, Pine Flowers, RB relevant, we're it. So, we're setting up, we had a person taken killed in Gibson, that investigation that's in the edge of Guilford County, near Levon University, in the days. Unfortunately, North Carolina is usually in the top 10 and road trespassing and road crossing deaths. We're not top 10 in the nation in population. We're trying to do this. So it's an epidemic here for North Carolinians. And talk about some stuff that you probably don't know, should have learned when you were in elementary school. Right? Without further ado. All right, so I'm with NCDOT. We're not the railroad, right? So we work with all the railroads. There are about 25 railroads in North Carolina, including the ones you've heard in the news, unfortunately, including Norfolk Southern. Right? So our goal is to reduce, mitigate, and remove death and destruction from our rails, and to make our rail system more efficient. So not every 4 hours, not every 3 hours, as I said, not every 10 hours. So it's something we need to put effort to. And we respond to about 140 rail-related calls, just NCDOT rail division. We respond to yearly. So NCDOT and you as taxpayers are part owners of the NCDOT passenger rail system. We own the rolling stock, but we do not operate it. We contract with Amtrak to move those trains daily from our yard out here to Charlotte and back. So, all right, over 700 railroads. They're all private companies, Google, Amazon, and they're private entities. Right, about 2,500 railroads in North Carolina. Now they operate in multiple states. That means you have multiple 911 jurisdictions. You pick up your phone here, you dial for an emergency or for a medical need here, so to your local 911. But that's not always the case. If you're out traveling, and what would you do in an emergency if your vehicle's disabled on the track, or maybe somebody else, or you see an emergency? What is your best way to contact the railroad to stop that train traffic before a disaster occurs? So let's talk about that. Right? So it takes a train about a mile to a mile and a half to get stopped. So every second is critical, literally every second. Right? It's about 18 football fields. We got a little visual there for you. All right. So let's give you this example. If you're traveling and you just happen to be in Mount Misery Road, southeast of North Carolina, love the word Mount Misery. So, but each one of these, what do there?
See if I can start from there. There you go.
It's and the bottom one advances it forward.
There we go. All right, so each one of these yellow blocks right here are a railroad interface or a crossing with the highway. We have 3 different locations, 2 different railroads represented in red. So in an emergency, your situation, you're at one of these crossings, this thing is slow. Supposed to be advancing. There we go. 1, 2. All these 3 crossings look very similar. So if you're looking for a landmark or something to convey to 911, because you're on this 911 call, right? And we're trying to figure out where you are, not from here, etc. And we're burning up these 2 or 3 minutes of time to figure out exactly where you are. So every second counts. If we spend that 2 or 3 minutes with 911, we've located the exact location. Now we know which railroad to call. Wouldn't it be nice if you were able to call that railroad yourself? I got that 2 or 3 minutes. That advance notice that we need to give to our railroad train crew to get that train stopped, because we know it takes a mile to get a stop. So you can do that. September 2015, the Federal Railroad Administration incorporated a rule to have all railroad companies post what is called the emergency notification sign, which is part of the emergency notification system. We call it the blue sign. At every railroad crossing in the United States, there's a unique telephone number right to that regulated railroad company. That is their 911 system, because they operate in multiple states, multiple counties, and multiple municipalities with numerous 911 systems that we have to find out where you are in your situation. So they have their own 911 system of sorts. 911 is always an option, right? But in the event of emergency, you want to save time and be very articulate on your location. Get out of your vehicle, get to a safe place, locate the blue railroad crossing identification, emergency notification sign, and look on that railroad crossing sign for a unique address, and I'll show that to you in the next slide. But these are posted, the blue signs are posted. You hit the cross buttons, below the cross buttons, or on the signal mast at railroad crossings that are what we call active signals, lights, bells, and gates. Right? If it's a passive crossing, which is with the cross button, it'll be posted on that sign itself. So what's shown here. So this is what it looks like up close. The 3 pieces of information that's regulated to be on there. That's the railroad that operates. You'll see right here CSX. Their emergency telephone number for an emergency or a hazard or a problem, right? And then their address. Each railroad crossing in the United States has a unique fixed number followed by a letter, alphanumeric identifier. That's their address system. So with over 50,000 crossings in the United States, each has its own identifier. So if you get out of your vehicle, locate that sign, dial the 800 number, toll free number, and say, hey, I'm crossing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, what's your emergency? Oh, you're at Rush Street in Raleigh. Yes, like your emergency. My vehicle's disabled and my grandmother's in the front seat. Can't get her out. She's disabled as well. Please get the train stopped, right? Or whatever it might be. 911 is always an option. Unfortunately, a lot of our 911 system doesn't provide education and awareness training for their 911 operators about this. So, just to review real quickly, on the blue sign is 800 or toll-free number. The railroad company that operates and controls traffic at that crossing. And our example here is the railroad crossing identification number, also known as the address. Right? That's everywhere in the United States, not just here in North Carolina. So wherever you're traveling, the same system is in the other states as well. So this is what it looks like up close. This is Aberdeen, Carolina, and Western. Is they operate in railroad company, their toll-free number, and the crossing identification number. That's in Aberdeen. If you go to Apex, you'll see there's a railroad crossing here, and then in the background, a few other dogs from railroad crossing. 2 different railroad crossing identification numbers, 2 different addresses, 2 different locations. So don't assume that second track is the same railroad. My example here, we have several here in Raleigh. I'm just using Karen, but you'll see right here in the blue is Norfolk Southern Rail Line, in the red is CSX, and you'll see they come together closely and start sharing rail corridor in downtown Cary. So there's, until they start sharing the same crossing, you're gonna have separate telephone numbers to contact the railroad. So don't assume, oh, the internet's back there it's gonna be the same road. I'll just call it from this number here. It's not gonna be that way, right? So, be aware of that. This is what it looks like from surface level, about 300 feet apart. The two separate road companies, and what Norfolk Southern does, CSX doesn't know what they're doing. Only 300 feet apart, might as well be miles apart. Okay. So, help me out that. So I might get through most of these. If, oh, by the way, you got any questions? Stop me and ask, because I am going through this a little bit quickly. All right. Yes, sir.
Just help me get ahead of this. When I see there's 25 plus railroads in North Carolina, or 700 plus in the country. 25 plus railroad companies, CSX, those are the companies.
Yes, sir.
And then who owns the tracks? They all share the tracks, or someone, do I pay royalties for another guy to go 200 miles on his track?
So, no, the railroad companies own their right of way and their own track. If you see another company on there, and you try to owns a little bit of track in the northeast quarter, New York to Boston, they have some sections there. It's a good question. But no, they lease time on the track of CSX, Norfolk Southern, BNSF, et cetera. So most of those 700 rail companies are what we call, I use the description, like a local trucking company, right? Not your interstate trucking company, which is our class 1 railroads like Norfolk Southern, CSX, BNSF, maybe, et cetera. So that's a good question, but they are privately owned and federally regulated. So, got a video to show. What I've done here is taken a 911 call from a person who was in harm's way on the railroad track. Simultaneously, I got a question. Yes, sir.
Turn your mic off when you play the video.
All right.
Oh, we can. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was my question.
That's the work for, take your Houston Harris on us. Thank you.
So, what I've done is joined a 911 call with a highway patrol dash cam video of two events that are going on simultaneously. Ladies calling for assistance for vehicles to become disabled on the railroad tracks, down the tracks, a good ways from the crossing. Simultaneously, a couple of troopers or a nearby highway patrol office responding to a motor vehicle crash in a parking lot. A little girl got hit. So as a trooper, first trooper crosses the crossing, he sees a vehicle on the track, thinking, "Oh, this could possibly be a maintenance vehicle for the railroad." But to ensure what it is, he asks the second trooper that's following him, "Hey, what is that?" So you'll see where the audio and the video come together. And it's pretty graphic. It's not bloody or anything like that, but it's very impactful to hear what takes place here. It's about a 4-minute video. If any of you want to step out of the room and come back in about 4 minutes, it's pretty impactful what you're going to hear. So, any takers? Nobody's leaving. Okay. So here's my little setup. I told you that earlier. So highway patrol officers back here. This is Brown's vehicles down here. How she became disabled there, we don't know. The first trooper goes across, "Hey, there's something here," goes back to his buddy, "Hey, something on the tracks, what is it?" He goes down and makes a 3-point turn. Meanwhile, the second trooper makes a quick turn around the island and starts running down the right of way to see if there's anything he can do. There's time here to do that. So.
Press the slide one more time. Press down on the slide again. There you go.
One left right here. Car to me by, and he picked up in front of me and I turned, but I jumped and yeah, yeah, and didn't say that the top floor said, and I'm not going to my fault. What kind of vehicle are you in? I'm in a super. Did you keep the call? Plug me in. I was having more heart. Of course, my car, insurance, got flat taxes and everything going on. Okay. What is your name? My name is Dawn. Somebody on North Pole. Nurses waiting coming. Sam, you're coming. Help me. Hello.
All over the busy, all over the terrain. All over the terrain. Everybody.
Hello. Ready to begin?
Yeah, they were grateful to everybody, not in there.
That's our 911 operator, Brian.
Hello.
Our supervisor takes over the call.
Okay.
This goes on a few more minutes later now. This goes on a few more minutes later now, since we're on. And investigations takes place. So. We had 2 victims here. Right? This is Brown, of course. But also our 911 today. So I'm not disparaging our own. It's a national problem, right? But they do not have this wherewithal, this knowledge, this training. It's not mandated by statute. Right? So don't make an assumption. I'm not here to disparage our 911 system at all. I'm here to empower you, make you knowledgeable, and maybe you have some influence with some folks that might be able to legislate and require better training about public safety, because this is across the nation. This is problematic just here in North Carolina. I have a question. Yes, sir.
Why did she stay in her vehicle? Was she not able to get out?
Yes, Mrs. Brown is returning from church. This was about noon on a Sunday, returning from church. There was some interstate construction going on right there south of Webb Road. And she was intimidated about driving through that, went across Webb Road down to Old US 29 to go on to in Lexington. How she got there, we don't know. We'll never know. And usually the question is, I thought you were going to ask it, why didn't the 911 operator tell her to get out or get to a safe place? Well, they're strictly regulated about following a certain protocol. Is it a medical call? Is it a fire? Is it a traffic crash or whatever that is? And from most school, they call those cards. They're looking for a card, a protocol for that. It doesn't exist. More often than not, I've done some research with NC State's ITRI and some other institutions here in North Carolina. And more often than not, we survey 911 centers, and most of these are categorized as frantic voters, voters needing assistance. And it's nothing but a railroad emergency, with or without a train president. Knowing it takes 3 or 4 minutes to get the message to the train crew, another mile and a half to get the train stopped. So we need 4 or 5 minutes of advance notice to bring this train to a complete safe stop before a catastrophe. Unfortunately, well, there are gaps in our system. I'm not here again. It's fair on they are my first responder, and I teach this to them as well. I'm here to share this with you. To know that this is a national problem, and that now that you're aware of this, you need to share this with your family and friends. And in your swag bag that I put together for you is a little blue card, a little reminder. Yes, ma'am.
Think that you think that not moving towards educating the responders on a national level is due to funding and what they want to put into that? Because I know that requires money. Sometimes people are like, no, that doesn't cost much, we won't do that. You think, is it down to funding?
So the question is the absence in the public safety training and education for railroad information due to funding? Possibly, and it's more complicated than that. There's a very stringent guideline, and a body of commission that oversees what training is required by our basic law enforcement, oversees the education standards for basic law enforcement training. And it seemed more complicated with our 911 system. It's more fractured and not as straightforward. So I really can't, I mean, there's a host of things that come together to make it unnecessarily complicated. And this void, when it comes to railroad awareness and education, I can't put a finger on it, but we are pursuing and doing our due diligence to get the data we need, maybe in front of legislators or whatever to address this. It's a great question.
Well, here's a question coming. Yeah, I was gonna say, is there any kind of cameras or motion sensing kind of equipment to have a little bit of lead time as they approach intersections? So
that's a great question, and in the engineering field, US DOT and other agencies, yes, they're putting out notices for proposals, for that type of technology. It's super complicated. They are looking at technology to advance notifications to our training crews. It's probably decades or so from implementation. Again, my second message is on trespassing. We don't have the time to do that, but I'll take more questions.
That lady do things correctly when they call.
Nothing.
No, okay.
Great question, and when I was speaking about the 911 system are geared to follow a certain protocol, she was looking for, how do I manage this? How do I manage this? And nothing, in some agencies I've spoken with, talk 911, they were.
But if your house is on fire, don't they tell you to get out?
Well, they have to follow a certain protocol, yes. But actually, they will follow a certain protocol. Yes. And some of these folks are so, their management is so stringent, they don't want to be, it might be non-compliant. Yeah. Rather than following, just natural common sense. So, yes, sir.
How many thousands of crossings are there in the state?
We've got about 5,000 public crossings and almost that many private crossings. Private crossings would be within businesses. We're going into a farm. Which is a great question, you know, somebody's farm or private property. So that blue sign, and in your swag bag, I mean, basically, you've got a little cheat sheet, there's a size card here, on the blue sign information, has some trespassing information, that will conductors, engineer can, but, that blue sign will be posted on either side of the railroad crossing when you approach it at a public crossing. On a private crossing going into a farm or a business, et cetera, it'll be on the public highway side, right? So when you're exiting there, you will not see the emergency notification sign, i.e. the blue sign. Okay, that's great. Yes, sir.
So at the crossing, you see the warning lights, how far is the train away?
So that's a great question. Depends on what type of warning system there, but constant, like a constant warning system would generally there's a rule. This question was how much advance notice by the time you see the lights and bells until the train is on the crossing. Essentially, 20 seconds. 20 seconds is the minimum by Federal Railroad Administration rule. The railroads can exceed that to a certain point, or a percentage of that, depending on site distance and train speeds, et cetera. And they're 25, 28 seconds somewhere.
The car is on that tracks, that thing is lights going off, most likely that train's not gonna be able to stop before it hits that car.
Oh, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. That's why we need, that's why I educated you about the blue sign. Or to call direct and say that 2-3 minutes that you would spend with your average operator to identify the exact location you're at, the correct railroad company to call for the 25 we have in North Carolina, and to cut out that 2 or 3 minutes so we can return that time saved to the train crew to get the train stopped before we pass it. Yes, sir.
What is the requirement for the two longs, the short and long, when the trains are coming up? Is that just in the city?
So no, so too long and short long is the sequence of whistle that the engineer blows before he approaches a crossing at about 1,000 feet out. Right, so
Is that just in the city?
he will blow that horn anywhere at any crossing, on approach to the crossing when it gets a signal board, they'll blow the horn. He's required to, unless, and we're getting more and more of these, unless you're entering a compliance zone, a non-trained compliance zone, which a lot of communities are pushing for, pay for the safety, advanced safety equipment at that crossing. And they will not blow in that area for housing or whatever reason, for business, it's that, yes, ma'am. Now they will, if there's an emergency, somebody's walking on the track or some emergency, they have to override that quiet zone. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, maybe I missed this in driver's ed.
Yes, you did. You did, because it didn't happen. No,
So that's where I think.
this is not taught in driver's ed. Okay, so still 25, 2 years ago, was loaded, which included, blue sign education and driver's education in North Carolina. We would have been the first state to incorporate that. It passed the House with 18-0. It just been on finishes. The House passed that 118-0. It was passed. Set in the Senate for a year and a half. Expired last year. We would have been the first. Wait, the month after it passed, less than 3 weeks of a young lady, 16 years old, had a driver's license 4 days. And got somebody brought up. Didn't know what to do, and nearly became a victim of something that's pretty basic, right? So I don't. I just shaking my head. That's all I'm saying. Shaking my head. Right. By the way, which I used to do when I was a kid, still fighting pennies on railroad tracks. Oh, that's yeah.
That got said.
It's selfies now. It's selfies.
It's not big.
Anyway, putting some Bitcoin on the trip. Yeah, Roger, that was interesting and compelling and very scary. In some respects. I'm not here to scare you. I'm not here to educate you so that it's kind of scary, but we appreciate it. And here's a token of our appreciation with our motto on the back, and I hope you enjoy it more. Copy of that, and I hope to see you again, and you can explain, come back maybe next year and explain the trespassing part of your. I'd love to do that. That'd be great. Thanks again very much. Thank you. With that, we'll stand and do the four-way test, please. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? All concerned. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming, Molly. 1:30 on the.